Hello, hello. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You're the
Yeah.
boss, man. Go for it. You're the boss. Sorry.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well today. It is 2 days before the new year, right, Zenny?
Yes, sir. I'm
Uh,
excited.
well,
Happy New Year, man.
Oh, my goodness. What a crazy year it has been. We were going to have a guest on, DMac from Denver. He does media and radio there in Denver for Denver Sports, but he, last minute reasons, could not make it, which is fine and dandy. We will just keep on moving and move along.
Hey.
So,
Yep.
but yeah. Coming on here to talk about the Broncos stuff with Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and what in the with all the Denver Broncos, what I'm calling fiasco feels like to me between what is Sean Payton saying, what is Russell Wilson saying, what are the Broncos saying, and what is my personal take on this. Obviously, Zenny, we'll get your take on all of this and what you think of everything going on, and we'll get some different perspectives. I think Bill is going to be coming on here in a little while as well, so we'll get his perspective as well on this. So before I get to my perspective, Zenny, what's your perspective on what's going on?
I really feel sorry for Russell Wilson, and I feel sorry for Russell Wilson because he's done a lot for the communities he's been in, be it in Seattle or now in Denver. He's a stand-up guy. He's done nothing wrong, and yet he's being treated now as if he's public enemy number one. And his new head coach, Sean Payton, yelled at him on the sidelines like he was a junkyard dog, which you don't do. And to Russell's credit, he stood there and literally took it. Um, but it's not a good situation for him, and I certainly hope he gets into a better one. Or, frankly speaking, they find out that Sean Payton isn't what they thought, and they part ways with him. That's my feeling. What's yours?
My feeling, I let's see. I have quite a few feelings on this because I'm watching a little. I'm watching closely how how Broncos country is reacting to this, and how Denver media is reacting. And my personal take, what I have seen from what has gone on, is it's hard to believe. Russell Wilson is a great player. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but I think he really, with what I have been reading, according to Mike Kliss from 9 News, Denver Sports, in Denver, he was saying that league sources told him. Actually, let me get it. Hold on, before I jumble my words. Hold on, let me get it here. Before I, my personal take is, I think Sean Payton should not be in this fight. I wish Sean Payton wasn't getting dragged into this because he's not in a part of contract talks. It's more George Payton, George Payton, and all of this. And so that's my take on Sean Payton. Now, Russell Wilson, that's a little more. Once I can get it here.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. News. And let me get the story if I can find it, because I should have had this up before and oops.
Things happen. That's okay. Things happen.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't play on me. Let's see. So this is my Broncos insider Mike Kliss.
Mm-hmm.
The union and league determined the Broncos had not violated the collective bargaining agreement with their approach to Wilson. League sources told 9 News no threat was made by the Broncos. Wilson heard otherwise. what I say, and when I read that, somebody's not telling the truth.
Yeah. Well,
And when I see something like that I was listening to a few people, and with Russell Wilson saying in his press conference, he said, "Oh, I think that the NFLPA got involved." His representation, his marketing team, and everyone said, "Yeah, the NFLPA got involved." According to Nine News, league sources told them no, their no threat was made and no violation was happened. And so I tend to be on the Broncos side of this because of what Russell Wilson is putting out with this. And so that's where I'm at. Russell Wilson's a good player, but he just doesn't fit with Sean Payton's system. And what I've learned is for an offensive head coaches need their, especially with one as successful as Sean Payton, they want their own guys. And with Sean Payton coming in with Russell Wilson, it wasn't his guy. He was not the one that brought in his guy. So I think that's where that is coming to, is part of it anyway, is that Russell Wilson isn't Sean Payton's guy. So there's tension. And when I was with Sean Payton, he has so many different plays. And he's had to minimize and simplify the plays for Russell Wilson. And what I have seen from the Broncos and what I have watched the Broncos play this year, Russell Wilson can't even do those plays. And I think with the Detroit game, I think that's what happened. I think when Sean Payton said he didn't have enough time, what I read is that Sean Payton, he had time, but Russell Wilson didn't give him the time. And that Russell Wilson just went up and did what he wanted to do instead of listening to head coach Sean Payton. That's how I'm reading what's going on with the Denver Broncos. And that's a lot of what a lot of people, those who are watching, I look at a lot of what Bronco country is saying, and Broncos country is split on this. Really, really split. There's, people like me that are on Sean Payton and Denver Broncos side of things and against Russell Wilson. There's people on Russell Wilson's side and against Sean Payton and the Broncos. And then there's those that are in the middle. But it's been interesting seeing that Broncos country is so divided on this. We're not sure who to believe, but after I read the 9 News story, Mike Kliss is well known, well trusted, so I tend to believe Mike Kliss. And so that's kind of where I'm at with all of this, and where my thoughts are of what I have seen with the Broncos. Now, obviously, Broncos have benched Russell Wilson, so now they're starting Jarrett Stidham. And we all know those Raider fans that are watching and know how Jarrett Stidham did last year. He almost beat the 49ers. He could have beat the Chiefs. It was a game versus the Chiefs last year, and I can only imagine how Jarrett Stidham will play this year with Sean Payton. I mean, with Josh McDaniels, he was an offensive coordinator in the playoffs. Now, he wasn't head coach. I could only imagine how Jarrett Stidham is going to do with Sean Payton, who was head coach in the playoffs, now obviously head coach of the Broncos, and see how Jarrett Stidham has changed between last year and this year. Obviously, Sean Payton has a lot of confidence in Jarrett Stidham, and he wouldn't have signed Jarrett Stidham to a $10 million contract if he didn't trust him and he didn't believe in him as the backup or now the starter for the last 2 games of the season. So I believe that somebody asked me, and I said this on a video this week on Zenny62, in a vlog. I said, somebody asked me from 1 to 100, how well do you think Jarrett Stidham's going to do? And I said 60. I think he will improve from last year. He'll improve with Sean Payton's offense. So anyway, that's where I'm at with all this, and that's kind of where my thought process and everything. So yeah, it's definitely interesting time in Broncos country. Broncos are being everybody's being vilified there in Denver right now, and so people are like, okay, who do we believe here? And let's basically kind of have to read between the lines. We know that back in October, we know this for sure, is that the Broncos approached Russell Wilson to move back of when the injury guaranteed kicked in. So for the 2020, for 2025. So that is for sure the truth. We just aren't sure, okay, did the Broncos really threaten to bench Russell Wilson? And talking with some people that are familiar with the Broncos and listening to some people familiar with the Broncos and George Payton, is that they don't believe George Payton wouldn't ever do that. And frankly, knowing the Broncos like I have, living in Denver, I can't believe that either. Now, obviously, it's new ownership, but it's hard for me to believe that kind of thing. It's just really hard to believe that. So now, like I said, y'all reading in between the lines on, where y'all stand. That's where I stand on it. So,
what do you think? What do you think our guests would say?
With like,
it seems like he thinks that Russell doesn't understand contracts, which I think, if I understood what he said correctly, which I think is kind of a I disagree. Hopefully, I'm not misinterpreting what he said, right? But then, okay, here's a clip from
the game plan, and so I'm willing to execute the plays as called. Sean Payton is trying to set up somebody. Let's go with an out. Let's go with an out. Let's go with an out. Now it's going to be an out.
This is where I'm getting at.
But if Russell Wilson isn't throwing to the out and setting that defender up, now you're going counter to Sean Payton's game plan. And so his ability to win the game from the sideline as a coach, calling plays and stacking plays on top of each other and setting up defenders and setting up defensive coordinators, clearly Russell Wilson is not capable of executing that.
But
See,
what
here's
this
where,
also
here's why
means,
I disagree with. This is the kind
in
of thing
my
I disagree with,
opinion,
okay? Because
is
my point is, So Russell Wilson's supposed to throw that ball to the guy that this dude, I don't know who he is, says that he's
Chad Brown, former player, former
yeah, okay. Some Chad
defensive player
right.
with Steelers, I think.
So Chad Brown says, okay, Russell has to throw it to that guy. Well, what if that guy's not open? What if the keys say, hey, don't throw it to that guy? All right. That's the kind of ridiculousness that really just sends me up a wall. I mean, give Russell Wilson credit for having to actually run the play as opposed to the play being on a black, on a whiteboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
it's wrong.
yeah. With watching it, like I said, with watching the Broncos games I have, Russell Wilson has it he he tends to run around a lot, which I know is kind of normal for him. He likes to run around, but he throws to open receivers, and the receivers just drop the ball.
Right.
And
Like Mr. Judy, right?
right. And so last week with the game against the Patriots, with the game with New England, it was the fact that Jerry Jeudy, or every week, the media would ask Russell Wilson, is Jerry Jeudy going to get catches or whatnot? And Russell Wilson's like, yeah, he'll get catches. We'll be throwing to him. He'll be great and everything. And then Russell Wilson doesn't even throw to him, and didn't until the fourth quarter of the game against the New England Patriots. And that frustrates me. Like, you have a good player in Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Judy's awesome.
Let me ask you a question, though. Why is that Russell Wilson's fault?
Because Jerry Jeudy was wide open all night and had been on numerous plays, and Russell Wilson just looked the other way.
But that gets to what I'm getting at, okay? If you take a look, I'm going to see if I can find one online, all right? Announcers give you this idea. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Announcers give you this idea that, well, just because a player is standing there or happens to be open, that's the player that the quarterback is supposed to throw it to. They don't think in terms of how the receiver's position looks from the standpoint of the quarterback. Is there a defender standing in his way? Is there a defender too close? And the biggest question of all, was that the receiver, the playbook designated? And I say that because in a number of situations, particularly with the kind of offense that that Sean Payton runs, which is based on what Bill Walsh developed.
Right.
There are some patterns that are simply decoys. We have a receiver that runs an out to bring the coverage and the safety and the cornerback that way in the hopes of opening up the middle for a tight end. All right, assuming that they have a formation with a tight end. Okay.
Yeah.
And my point is, if you don't know that, you shouldn't guess. But what happens, you have all these people on television doing just that. They're guessing, and they're not even guessing. They're talking as if, that this is the way it is, and that's that. And more often than not, that's not the way it is.
Yeah,
and a lot of broadcasters I talk to, they just say things.
Almost done. Click the continue to installation button and follow the instructions.
Sorry about that. They just say,
yeah.
Okay. What I was trying to download Peyton's offense from the New York Giants, but I'll go another route on this. And what were you going to say?
I'm trying to figure out how I would I can see where you're getting at with the decoys. I do. Yeah, I can see that.
And
Um,
alerts, and
yeah,
alerts are not your primaries. The alerts are, receivers you should watch for. All right.
right.
If you don't know who the alert is and who the primary is, here's an example. I found that example of, precisely what I'm talking about. And it's right here. Let me put that down and then go here. Excuse me for a second. And then go here, right here. And it should be, excuse me. Um, I just had it. Is that it? Nope. Nope. Notifications. No, and no. Somebody says it's not showing up yet. But it will, I believe. I hope. Let me try something else here.
Yeah, with Sean, and of course, I don't know. Knowing what I watched with Russell Wilson, I don't know. He has good numbers, and I guess this. I don't know.
Okay. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think about with trying to. I'm trying to figure out how to say it, and I can't figure it out. My brain's going fry. Is wanting to fry right now, and
yeah, that happens. That happens.
Yeah,
I think if I can help you along, the problem is that some people and some broadcasters are taught to have a canned statement as opposed to really understanding what it is that they're watching. And what happens is that if that person gets into a place where they are, shall we say, star, right? Then what happens is that people who listen to that person wind up getting infected by what they say. And you don't have time to research and find out if whoever says what they're saying is in point of fact, a hill of beans or not, right? And so you're left wanting. But the bottom line is here we go. This should work. But the bottom line is you are generally being sold a bill of goods by someone who was never paid to draw up a play to save their life, let alone yours. And
here comes Bill.
Here it is.
Oh no, never mind. That's not Bill. That's
here. Have a look. Okay, here's what I found, and I'll zoom in on this. I believe that's the one to zoom in on. This one, okay, and I'll zoom in on this right now, and here and here, okay, and here, okay. See where it says alerts? I'm circling that. Can you see where it says alert?
Yeah.
All right, that's an alert. Then you have number one, which is a primary, which is in this case the tight end. So the tight end goes here. What this means, it has an option of basically if this is middle of field, MOFD. If middle of field is open, then you go straight down the middle. But if it's closed, you go this way. I don't like the way they draw up their plays. All right, that's number one. Okay, but then if you also have your inside slot as number one, and look at your alerts over here and over here. I think this is a very sloppily designed play myself because there's no third, right? You can't see everything. So what Sean should do is give one of these designations as a decoy and only ask the quarterback to read one part of it. Why? Because the quarterback doesn't have that much time.
Yeah. Well, and I think
This is this. You know what? You know what? This gets to the problem and the big issue that I have with Sean Payton in terms of, and I said it before, not understanding and appreciating time. Okay.
right.
And you cannot ask, just like Paul Hackett had the same problem. I made a video about Paul Hackett and his problems before the season started. Okay.
Right.
And I'll show you, I'll show you what I said. Not Paul Hackett, his son.
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel Hackett, yeah. And so, because he was hailed as some sort of genius just because he was drawing a 7-step drop.
Well, and we can see where Nathaniel Hackett's what's going on with Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, the Jets are out of the playoffs, and I mean, I don't know how much that is due to Aaron Rodgers, and he didn't do anything with Denver last year. So, I mean, yeah, we can see that the play calling just doesn't work.
I saw this. I called this out before. All right, this was a year ago. I called this out before the Broncos hit the field under this guy. All right, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and I'll enlarge it here. And let me pull that up here, okay? And here it goes. All right, here it goes.
Everybody, this is Denver Broncos new head coach Nathaniel Hackett describing a play, a 7-step drop. I'm going to wind it back to the beginning and then explain to you why, if he intends to win in this play or plays like it, he's going to get his quarterback killed. Let's go back to the beginning, first of all.
And it did all year last year.
And let's start.
On a play, one of my personal favorites is an old school play called shallow cross. So it starts off right here with, if we're in a 2-back formation, one of my favorite is a strong right ace. We put an F left because you always got to get a little bit of motion action. And we'll call an X shallow cross here with 3-jet protection. We'll have a shallow cross by that X, so if he was over here, we got the Z, he's going to run a post. We got the Y, he's running a deep sit with a potential chance to work back.
Now let me stop right here. The main problem with how he's diagramming this is he pays no attention to space and time. In other words, what's the yardage depth here? This is 15 yards, 12. What is this? What's the yardage depth here? Okay? It's not paramount in his thinking. He might describe it later, but it's not paramount in his thinking. Let's continue.
We've got a swig route here, which is a swirl or dig depending on his split. So on this play right here, we love this thing. We got the back, he's check whiting, because any man coverage, we got a chance for that X to run away, and he's our number one. The quarterback, he'll take a drop. He'll take what we call a controlled 7-step drop, which means this thing can happen at any point. You never know. You can take a full 7 if it's zone, get a nice little hitch, and throw that to the 1, then work back up to the 2. If it's man coverage, he's got to be ready to rip that thing to him on the run so he can put it in front of him and he can catch and go score a Tugalicious. Now we've got...
Okay. He's doing controlled 7-step drop. That's fine. But it's steep. Here's the problem. He's got both his backs control blocking on the weak side. He has 2 blacks doing this. See that? Here and here. That's not necessary. He only needs 1. He's left his strong side vulnerable. So all I'm going to do is line up 4 down linemen. I'll put nose tackle, end, linebacker, and I'll blitz them. And I've got a direct shot to the quarterback. There's nobody stopping me. He will not have enough time to get this off. His number 1 is coming all across the field. He's not asking him to throw this hot here. He didn't say that. He should. His tight end can be occupied by the free safety. Really, the strong safety will cover him on the inside. Okay? I'm not going to ask my linebacker to chuck him. I'm going to run right by him. We win the pressure game. There's a reason the 7-step drop is not used as much as it was in the past when this play was, or form of it was popularized by San Francisco 49ers and former Stanford head coach Bill Walsh, because defensive players were slower. But you expect to run this kind of play with success today? That's crazy. So, folks, there's your preview. Broncos fans, you're in for a long season. Subscribe to Zenny62 and bookmark OaklandNewsNow.com.
I told you, right?
Yeah. Well, and the bad part is Russell Wilson's only 5'9", or 5 whatever, 5'10", whatever. He's not a tall quarterback, so I think that's another reason why he struggles. But
he was NFL, but he was Super Bowl MVP. Same height. I mean, none of that has anything to do with anything. You can't toss away the man's history.
Well, no. I'm
curious because look, defenders didn't suddenly grow to double their size. All right, they're the same size. They didn't. Okay, so my point is, the person that should be your concern is the man that draws the plays. All right. In this case, Nathaniel Hackett. And again, I did this preseason. I told you it was going to happen before it happened. All right. And so you want to tell me that Sean Payton is any better? He's not. Just look at this play design. We'll tell you. And those are plays that he did with the Saints. Okay. So my point is, he had his last hurrah with Jameis Winston, but the Bucs put out a bounty on him and tried to break his leg. True. Okay.
Right.
Prior to that, Winston was 5-2 record, 5 wins and 2 losses, 14 touchdowns against just 3 interceptions. 3.
Right.
Okay. Sean Payton proved that Jameis Winston could play in a ball control passing offense. But my point is that if he can do that with Jameis Winston, why the heck isn't he doing it with Russell Wilson?
I think, and here's where my belief is. I think there has to come to a point. Jameis Winston was able to do it with Sean Payton in New Orleans, but I think what it comes down to is not every quarterback fits the system, and we're seeing that now with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton.
But my point, I mean, interrupt you. My point is that you don't make your quarterback fit a system so much as you design the system to fit your quarterback. It's a tightrope you walk, you know.
And I believe with what I've seen this year, I truly believe that Sean Payton has tried to fit his playbook around try to fit the system around Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever reason, whether it be Sean Payton, whether it be Russell Wilson, might be a common, and I think it's going to be probably a combination of both, is for whatever reason, it's just not working out. We're seeing that. It's just not working out. And whether it's Russell Wilson, whether it's Sean Payton, it's just not working out. And, Russell Wilson's a different quarterback than Jameis Winston is. And obviously no quarterback is the same as the other. So, yeah, we may say, okay, Russell Wilson can do the same as, or why can't Russell Wilson or Sean, what's the difference between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston? Well, they're two different quarterbacks. And
so Stidham, my point is that you're trying to fashion a statement to fit something you want to believe, as opposed to just going with being analytical about the situation. All right. And that's going to get you in trouble all the time. because you can't fit a square peg of emotions into a round hole of analysis. The simple fact of the matter is that anybody worth their salt is going to design plays and then ask their quarterback what they want to run or what they feel comfortable with, but then match that with what they want to do with the game plan. That's natural.
Yeah.
What I believe the problem is I think Sean doesn't like Russell Wilson as a personality. And I believe it has something to do. Now, the difference between Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston will do exactly what you tell him. And that's why Jameis gets into a lot of trouble on the field, because you'll have stupid coaches that put in plays like Bruce Arians, all right, ask him to run them, and he's such a soldier, Mr. Winston, that he will run them as he's asked to do, even if they're screwed up. Okay?
Right.
If you tell him to throw to a person like what Chad Brown was saying, he'll throw there, but then, gets picked off. So who's going to get the blame? Not the coach.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. Is that right? No. Okay, it's totally wrong, because you can make this happen with RG3 and Mike Shanahan, which is why I've lost complete respect for Mike Shanahan years ago. He put RG3 out there and ran him to death. He had two quarterbacks. They drafted Kirk Cousins in the 4th round, RG3 in the 1st round. I have an interview with RG3, actually several from the NFL draft, right here at Zenny 62. Okay. And they set him up, that young man, to get killed by running him a lot, as opposed to teaching him a ball control passing offense, which could really get the job done and then save him. Mike Shanahan was determined to get that kid injured just so he could have a reason to put in Kirk Cousins. All right? Because he wanted a white guy. Okay? That's how psychotic racism is. People will actually mortgage the success future of an organization like the once called Washington Redskins, now called Washington Commanders, for their set of homespun beliefs that have to do with what a person looks like, as opposed to really getting the job done and saying, all right, I've got this guy. He's a Heisman Trophy winner in the case of both of them. And yeah, he can run, but I don't want to take advantage of that because he can sustain so many hits because of his body. Right.
Right.
He didn't think that way. All right. And it's widely acknowledged. What I said back then is now a universal truth. Mike Shanahan deliberately got RG3 the ball a lot to get him injured. Okay. He may not like that a lot. My buddy Mike Silver was writing a book about Mike Shanahan, may not like it, but you defy me and prove it's not true. Or anybody else. You know?
Right.
It's all the lengths people will go to maintain an idea about somebody else that's based on the prejudice that they want to maintain. And at the end of the day, in this society, the way it's structured, it costs money. And fortunately, a number of NFL owners are not going to waste time with people like that. They'll go out and they'll get a Justin Fields, and they will make their coaches develop the right scheme around him because the audience wants it. You want to see devoted fans of Justin Fields? Go to a Chicago Bears game. And newsflash, most of them are not black. Okay, they love Justin Fields and they defend him to the point of punches. All right, they want to see him do well because they saw it at Ohio State. They know that he was treated like crap here in Georgia, which is why he left the University of Georgia. If you want to be a winner, is to recognize the talent regardless of what they look like.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bad look. And what I ask anybody to do is, you have the internet. Look at the playbooks, right? Look at what you're trying to do. That's where the secret sauce is. You know what I mean? That's where the fun is. That's to be able to type, Dallas Cowboys playbook or then look at the past videos. Like there's a great YouTube channel I can't show for copyright reasons called David Volsky's Locker. and he's got all these plays, all these full games from the past with Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and later Danny White, my favorites, the complex multiple offense, classic games back then, and you can see, and they're in great condition. And so, you can understand the underpinnings of the systems that were developed today and why they're last and why some did not do it.
Right.
That's where the game is. And a lot of reporters don't look at it, and then they infect you guys' brains with it because they don't want to look. Bad stuff.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to get off. My family's getting ready to have Thanksgiving dinner with family that's coming in town, so I've got to stop.
Let's wave to our guest who's supposed to be on. Hey, we're here for you, man. We got the goods, man.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
And by the way, Mr. McKee, by the way, DMac, take care of my friend here, okay? He's a good man.
Oh yeah. And for those Broncos fans out there, if you want somebody to listen to besides me and Zenny, go check out DMac. He's awesome. I've listened to him for 10 years. My dad, who's also a Broncos fan, listened to him a lot longer. So if you want somebody that knows that is in the know with Broncos stuff, go check DMac out. They've got Kill You With Truth podcasts, and so check them out. And they've got some awesome content over there, so check that out. So I'm going to end it, and Zenny, you and I will talk or chit-chat for a minute after.
Hey, real quick. Tonight, 10:45 Eastern, our end-of-year live stream celebrating all that is Zenny 62, or as much as we can fit in a reasonable amount of time,
After the Cowboy game, right?
Yeah, 10:45, because the game starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. So my calculations are that by 10:45, it should just be about over.
Go Cowboys! Come on, Dallas!
I have no dog in the hunt. I will. But you're saying go Cowboys for a specific reason. Why is that?
I live here in Texas, so I'm starting to root for hometown Cowboys. I root for the Texans just a little bit. Not much, but I root for them. I don't have a dog in that fight with Texans, but with the Cowboys, I love Dak Prescott, love the Cowboys, and to see them in the playoffs for the third straight year. Yes.
Yeah, they're a great organization with great people.
Oh, yeah.
They were a great organization with great people when Tom Landry was there, and I had the pleasure of visiting when I was 16 years old. Ever tell you that story?
No, you'll have to tell me it later.
Yeah, because you got to go. Yeah, I'll tell you later. But
talk to y'all later. Thank y'all. Thanks for coming on, and we will talk out to y'all later.
Whoa, hold a second. There is one quick thing. All right, I forgot to. This might be of interest. I'm not sure, but it's germane to what we were talking about. If it is here, and it is. Okay. Right here, and I'll put it up right there real quick. Stop screen, present, share screen is boom. Me and Jerry, see that photograph on the extreme?
Oh, I'm jealous, Zenny. I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
That is the CES 2019 Las Vegas Raiders sponsor party that I was invited to, and Jerry was there, and this guy asked to have his picture taken with him, and so I made a selfie.
Oh, that is. Oh, I'm jealous. I would love to meet some of these owners and some of these people. Man, I would love to meet one day. Oh,
yes, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah. So, all right. Well, you take care, Zenny. We'll talk at you later. I'm hoping to get on tonight hopefully it's not too late for me. Well, it is. What, you're getting on at 10 o'clock, so it's gonna be 9 o'clock.
Oh no, 10:45.
10:45. That's 9:45 my time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I should be able to come on for a little bit. I don't know how long, but a little bit. So, all right, y'all take care. Have fun. Zenny, you take care, and we'll talk at y'all later.
So yeah, thank you.
Yep, bye.